Hi, this is vlog entry 141 and currently is about 2 o'clock p.m. CST, and I've been quite busy today. Well, sort of. I mean, I've been doing more light reading, and then my book about Faraday and Maxwell are going to be coming in probably the next couple of days. It's still in transit to the local library branch that's in my neighborhood, so that may take some time. And yes, I am wearing a NASA shirt. Yes, I'm a NASA fanboy. I've talked about this already. But yeah, I mean, I also went on a walk today, and the overcast was pretty clear. There were some speckled clouds out in the sky, but mostly blue sky. So I was like, it's been pretty much gray for the past couple of days. So I was happy to see that. And it's about 60 degrees, so I had a light jacket and everything, and I just enjoyed the weather for a little bit, just let my mind wander, listen to a random podcast because why not? And yeah, so this morning. I was looking into HTTP requests and looking at all the different. Again, I like looking into the. I like backend stuff more. I guess if I ever became a web developer to any extent, I would be in backend dealing with servers and databases and whatnot. I don't like front end much. I don't like front end design. It's just not something that I enjoy doing. I wouldn't consider myself to be. I mean, I think I am creative, but creative in another way. I believe I am creative, but creative in another way. Not the kind of design that you'd be dealing with, making pages look nice and all that. No, I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, I mean, I was reading into CSS, which is, what is it called? The cascading sheet something? Cascading sheet. Style sheets, sorry. Yeah, style sheets. I should have known that one. I looked at that a couple of days ago and I forgot what it stood for. Cascading style sheets, and I was looking at HTML because, again, I just want to slow down a little bit and just kind of look at these more, look at the root concepts involved with web development before I jump into any kind of framework like Gin or like any of the other frameworks that I was talking about. And so I'm looking more into that, and I just kind of want to understand a little bit more before I do anything. And today I was looking at HTTP requests, and I was writing a few notes on it and whatnot, and the different kinds of HTTP requests. I mean, it seems pretty simple. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it's pretty simple. I haven't even I'm obviously not going to write a bunch of requests and all that. I was also looking at. I kind of want to I like playing around with things. So I was thinking about either getting Wireshark or some other kind of application that can analyze the requests during runtime and whatnot, just to see it break down to more just rudimentary code and whatnot, or steps. I was kind of looking at the assembly code it's like the assembly code of web development to a degree, even though, I mean, it all boils down to assembly code, but you know what I mean. So I like that kind of stuff. So I may use Wireshark or something else just to play around with it a little bit, just understand networking more to some degree. I heard Wireshark's probably one of the better applications for that kind of stuff. So it's either that or something else, and I'm sure there are other ones too. But I think I'm gonna do Wireshark. And I'm not sure if you can probably use Wireshark in Ubuntu, or is that exclusive to Windows? Maybe it is. Let me see. I guess you can install Wireshark on Ubuntu. The last update on the page involving Wireshark was 2015, or did they? Yep, you just have to add a repository, of course, to Ubuntu apt before you can install it. So yeah, you can actually get Wireshark on Ubuntu, which is nice. And I may actually install that and then play around with that a little bit. And what else was I looking at? Of course, like I said, I was looking at the different HTTP requests and whatnot. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I just started reading about them, and I'd rather let that sink in a little bit more before I say anything about it. I mean, of course, you can talk about the formatting of HTTP requests. Typically, I think you have the kind of HTTP request it is, whether it's GET or post or delete, or is there an update as well? There's probably an update. Post is a kind of update, but then there's update as well, I believe. And so there are different kinds of HTTP requests, of course. And let me see here. I say get, post, delete. Oh, there's put. Put is the quote unquote update. Whereas I think I think post does an update, but it also adds a new kind of resource that points at a parent resource, or whatever that means. I don't know. That seems a little bit abstract, but I don't know what they mean by resource. That obviously has to deal with databases to some extent, you would think, and something like that. And yeah, so of course you have patch. That's an actual update. And put is so it updates or creates a new resource. And then patch also updates. I don't know what the difference between those two are. And then there's head and options. Head. What is head actually? I can understand options, but what is head? HTTP request. Oh, is a type of HTTP request that is identical to HTTP GET, but except that the server will not return a message body as part of. Oh, it's the same thing except that it doesn't return a message. But why are they called head for that? I don't know. Maybe just I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I can just say I don't know. I'm gonna update that. But yeah, I mean, I've been quite busy today, so you know, I'm gonna keep moving in this general direction because I've been interested in this, and it's good to have a bunch of technical know-how. And you know, if you're somebody if you consider yourself to be if somebody that abides by delayed gratification, this is a good way to actually use that, because this is a form of improving your equity. Increasing your equity is by absorbing knowledge, the technical knowledge to execute potential future ideas. And of course, you should know about webs. I think web programming is something you should know, at least from a rudimentary perspective. And I'm the kind of person that I consider myself to be a first principles thinker, which is why I like physics and mathematics a lot. So if I want to implement first principles thinking, I have to understand the building blocks of web development, and this is the way to do it, is by breaking it down into smaller functional bits that can be understood through a more simplistic way, but without having to abstract everything. And I guess by doing that, I can actually understand the abstractions that I'm using a lot more in comparison to somebody that doesn't understand the more technical know-how of a server and database. So yeah, I think this is very worthwhile for me, especially. Yeah, so same as GET request except no response. I mean, there is a response, isn't it? Will not return a message body as part of each. Okay, no message body. Sorry. So like I think it said the message body is like 200, which is okay, and then like error 444, that's considered to be the message body, I believe. Or is that? Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. That happens a lot. I was looking at a video about it, and I didn't see it. So I don't know. Fine, I'll ask perplexity. What is a message body HTTP request? What is this? I don't know. I have so many spaces. All right, let's go link. Let me go back to my random spaces, physics and computers, science studies. What is it? I don't know. I've been feeling pretty good today, so I decided to learn some more. You know, I mean, since I use my computer a lot when I'm talking on here, maybe my next video I'll actually have I'll actually show my screen for the application that I'm using and whatnot. Comes from the request header, separate from the blank line. Okay, but can I see an example? That would be nice. Let me see. Maybe let's see if it's smart enough to do that. I'm using Perplexity right now. HTTP request message body example. Let's see if it knows how to do that. That would be cool. Oh. contains form data. Okay. So the post, is everything else below the post a message body? So they have like the user agent, the host, and all the specific details. I mean, you'd have to have hosts. User agent is probably important too for for the server to know what is what kind of browsers interacting with it and whatnot. But I don't see anything saying anything specifically about the message body contains a form data being sent to the server. Okay, I guess that's considered to be a message body. Multiple form data. So more complex data such as file uploads. You can use multi-part form data content type. Here's an boundary equals. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff that I'm unaware of. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it just seems to be more specifics when you send a post or any kind of HTTP request. It's just for the server to know more specifics about the browser and maybe how the information is sent and whatnot. I don't know. Yeah, which is cool. And obviously, servers would have to have the functionality for that to begin with. So maybe it would probably depend on the server and whatnot. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I kind of got sidetracked there. Accept no message body. I have to write that down on my notes because I kind of like writing notes. I know it takes a little bit longer to do that, but I feel like if I wrote down my own notes, I would it would stick in my head a little bit more in comparison to not doing it. Of course, you can watch videos, and I do watch videos. I think videos definitely help out with absorbing content and whatnot. I mean, I read as well, but also it kind of depends on like where you go for that kind of information and whatnot. And I've been using Perplexity for reading stuff because it kind of gets straight to the point as opposed to clicking through a bunch of URLs just to find it to begin with. Like most people would probably use Stack Overflow for this kind of stuff when it comes to general technical know-how when it comes for web development or computers and whatnot. Of course, it can vary. It depends on the technical know-how that you're looking for, but for general superficial information and trivia regarding this kind of stuff, you'll probably find on Stack Overflow pretty quickly. And it seems like Perplexity did use Stack Overflow for this answer, and it used it used 8 sources for this answer that I'm looking at right now when I asked for a message body example. So a lot of them are okay. There's tutorials, but most of these sources I have no idea about. I know about JetBrains, developer.mozilla is something I haven't really used, and of course, they use Wikipedia and then Stack Overflow. Then W3 is for general. What is W3 actually? I guess web something probably. Yeah. So and still uses HTTP. Is that still common? HTTP.1.1 or the model of the hypertext transfer protocol that it's using is 1.1 still, which is interesting. Yeah, so I'm just messing around with that. I'll probably download Wireshark and play around with that a little bit because I like toying around and seeing the bottom under the hood stuff. So, and I am not able to speak properly. And then I wrote a bunch of notes about like financial independence and how I want to do that, or a general direction of how I'm going to do in the future. I don't have all the specifics, as again, there are a lot of routes to take. One of them is obviously through passive income, but I actually don't have enough. I'm not in the right place for passive income yet, but I'll get there eventually. But of course, creating a product or creating your own product in your head and whatnot. I was thinking like, well, of course, I could start with something technical and just start doing things to kind of start just racking up my skill sets through experience, and that's what I did here. I mean, it's probably one of the best ways to gain experience, knowledge is through experience. Of course, books are cool and all that, and they help out quite a bit. But the general driver for the human mind to absorb information quickly is through having a specific goal in mind, a very specific goal in mind for it to then understand where it's going. And then it's definitely better than not knowing where you're going. So my direction is I want to build a blog website. So I'm doing that, and it's not going to be anything too complicated. I don't know if I want to use CSS for it, but I'm still trying to learn about the CSS and just to again have to appreciate the frameworks that we're using nowadays and whatnot. So Yeah. So CSS isn't super duper it probably is. I mean, like, the general idea behind CSS is not that complicated. Is that it has like a target. I think you can embed into HTML. Can you do that actually? Because isn't there like a caret / style section where you can have a target. A target could be a button. It could be a paragraph or whatever. And yeah. And then you can have like general information about it, and like, I don't know, like, don't they have like patterns or something, like padding, and then margin, and then the pixelated size, and what do they call flexbox or something? That's probably something in CSS, right? And obviously colors, and then all that and other fancy stuff that you could probably do in CSS, which just seems kind of mundane. I don't like front end stuff. I don't like the styling stuff, but I still think it's kind of cool to look at the data structures that they use for how they interact with each other and whatnot. So again, it's just another way of gaining information is through doing things and studying things and interacting with them in different ways and seeing what kind of new conclusions you can reach and whatnot. So yeah. So yeah, I've been sidetracked, and I've been looking at physics every once in a while, but it seems like my mind is more interested in understanding this kind of stuff right now. So I'm gonna let it be, and I'll probably go back to physics, obviously. But right now, it's kind of interested in this because I'm more interested in being able to gain some kind of equity in my own mind, and I've gained equity in my own mind through physics to some degree by just implementing that's like, I think physics was my driver in which I've learned how to think pretty much about things, and that's from a first principles basis, and just breaking things down into smaller bits and then trying to look at those smaller bits and see how they interact with each other to then create a new understanding of a given system and whatnot. So that obviously you see that in physics everywhere when you're messing with equations. Equations are systems, or at least abstractions of systems and all that. So then you look at them in simplistic basics and build up from there, and then you start messing with the more complicated things before you can go anywhere with it. Yeah. So I mean, I think I have a general framework in which I can probably tackle most technical problems just by looking at things through the lens of physics and mathematics and whatnot. So, yeah. It's just right now I am more focused on building equity. Is that equity the right word? I don't actually. I just hear about it a lot, but I have a general idea of what equity is. Let's see what the value, worth, yeah, exactly, building equity, value. So, yeah. Again, I have a lot of mathy stuff that I'll probably be looking at. I'm going to take it easy, though. I don't want to rack my brain up too much. What is this? Oh, I guess I just keep writing random notes down. I have it beside my table, and my head is cluttered with thoughts. I was thinking, like, since I have 3 months before my money runs dry, I was thinking, like, what if it's just a thought. I'm probably not going to do it. I'm probably going to balance it with a part-time job. I was like, what if I invested all of my energy into something that could maximize my equity in my own head? I wonder what would happen in that timeline. I'm probably not going to. Maybe I'll do like DoorDash if I want to do like a minimal effort thing, but maybe, I don't know. DoorDash in the way would be kind of difficult, but this is also a minimal effort job that I'm aiming for right now. It's just a part job, So I don't have to do anything crazy, and I don't have to deal with a lot of stress, meaning I can actually not be drained when I get back home, and hopefully I don't have to worry about talking to people all the time. Yeah. So, fuck. I still have to call Advanced Vision Institute today, so I may do that. Should I do that today? Shit. I said I was going to do that today, so I probably should. I mean, it shouldn't take that long. I'll just ask them to email my prescription to me. Hopefully, that's as easy. You would think it would be that easy, right? I would just give them my name and my email and my phone number. You would think. I guess they don't really have to verify I mean, they have my phone number, so I call them with that phone number that they have in my database, and it happens to be the number that I still have, so I don't see there being issues. I was also trying to think about like my life as like design, using a design mindset to create my life and whatnot. And I tend to look at things from a first principle perspective, like I said a million times, and kind of modularizing everything, and then looking at the things that I don't want. So like it's just easier for my brain to be like, it's like, segregate it from the rest of the things that you do like, and you're looking at that and just saying, it's like, okay, I don't like this. How can I fix it? The only thing that I don't really like, I'm actually pretty content about the situation I'm in, other than the fact that I have to do things that I don't like doing because, well, I get paid to do it, obviously, but I don't want to get paid to just do something I don't like doing. I want to do something that I like doing and still get paid for it, right? So I guess I'm trying to fix that. That's like the only thing that's kind of messing with my fulfillment in life is that. And I would even say, again, this is like just a very minimal job. It's not something that that requires a lot of effort. So it's a little bit mundane, and I don't want to suffer from brain rot because it's going to be pretty boring. And I would only be investing like 5 to 7 hours per day. I think it's just between 5 to 7 hours. So it's not bad. It's just the 7 hours just would be annoying to deal with at times. But at the same time, I'm going to bring my laptop with me, and I'm sure they have a break room where I could probably access the Wi-Fi in one of the field houses, and I'll be fine. I'm not going to, again, like, it's the winter time, it's going to be slow, and it's not going to be a lot to do. But, yeah, it would just be an ideal job for the situation I'm in. I actually sometimes have those thoughts where I'm like, I don't know where it comes from. I just feel like I have like a specific role to provide for society and whatnot. Like, I don't know, like working in construction because they have shortages in construction and skilled labor and all that. And people always need paramedics. They always need people in hospitals, like nurses and doctors. And I'm like, well, shit. That I used to be that kind of person that would sacrifice my own preferences for the world and whatnot. But I think I'd rather focus on my own preferences now and gain some kind of equity to gain the freedom to then sacrifice myself to those particular volunteering things. And honestly, I'd rather do that and volunteer as like an EMT or something else to make myself feel a bit better about giving to society as opposed to just building my own equity in the system. And even though that equity does provide a lot of societal value to some degree, especially in technology and whatnot, I still want to focus on helping society in different ways, I guess. And that, one of them could be donating, of course, and being a philanthropist. But I also kind of want to volunteer to some degree. I like volunteer, and also, I have thought about like volunteering in third world countries. I wouldn't mind doing that, like Africa or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I also want to get into embedded systems, because then if I get into embedded systems, then I can work on like low cost computers that are affordable, that are inexpensive for these countries and whatnot to use, and that would be nice too. You know what I mean? So I've thought about that, and that is probably later down the road, which is why I always think about embedded systems still. If you guys don't know what embedded systems is, it's dealing with microcontrollers that basically interact with the world, and it controls these. It could be more mechanical. It could be a computer of some sorts. It could be, I don't know. You could think about a thermostat on, that's connected to a sensor and the actual AC unit. It has to have a sensor and a feedback loop to that sensor because it has to know the temperature of the atmosphere within your room and whatnot, and it creates this feedback loop to then modify those things, and it reaches a certain temperature, and anyways, it's just that's an example of an embedded system. There are a lot of examples, and these embedded systems are called real-time operating systems because most of the time they're not general purpose operating systems. General purpose operating systems tend to be the computers. Well, computers are general purpose. They're general purpose operating systems because there's a kernel layer and then you have a user layer. RTOSes don't usually have a user layer or user space. Kernel space, user space, and that's mainly the biggest thing. But of course, RTOSes have a kernel space. I think based in most real-time operating systems, they have to. Kernel space is basically it's a whole slew of things. It's basically how it's your code that basically interacts with the hardware to then have a scheduling system of some sorts, and of course you could have multiple devices talking to each other, and this kernel kind of talks to the GPU to kind of give it a priority within a given time, or it's a scheduler basically. So it has the scheduler. I think it has a lot of other things, but my memory of operating systems is not really that precise because I've just kind of glazed through this kind of stuff. I have a lot of superficial knowledge about a lot of subjects pertaining to technology and science and physics and whatnot, but I wouldn't say I'm even close to professional. And I could be wrong when I say this, but I don't care because it helps me understand these topics more. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, right? I wouldn't expect anybody to take me seriously because I just said I'm not a professional. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, gravity problems though. So I was looking at a video about designing your life and everything. I actually don't remember what gravity problems is. My brain's been everywhere, but I think gravity problems are problems that you tend to deviate towards due to the fact that they happen to. They're kind of constructed by the mind. They may not be actual problems, or maybe it's the way you see the problem and you're not looking at the actual problem. If that kind of makes sense. I don't know why it would be called. You know what? I'm going to search that. What is a... yes, a circumstance that's outside of course. That I should have known that one. Yeah. I've looked at a bunch of examples of gravity problems because it's just, hiring freeze on campus. It's a good one. Passage of time is definitely a gravity problem. It's something you can't control. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get fixated on gravity problems and that they can't fix. They try to. They really do. They really do. It's you see it in the United States a lot. Really, a lot of people don't have the conscientiousness to understand that gravity problems are something you shouldn't be even thinking about until you get to the state, until you're actually there to fix it. You know what I mean? So I've had to learn that because I had a lot of things that were out of my control that I'm in more control of now because of the fact that I've evolved to this state to actually have control of it. So yes, it's actually really hard to drop things like that and be like, well, maybe in the future, the near future, I'll be able to fix it, but I can't fix it now, so I'm going to focus on the things that I can fix right now. And is the typical algorithm that I use when it comes to those kinds of things. Like, okay, shit, I guess so. So like another gravity problem would be me dealing with tensors. What is this? Oh, random text. Yeah, what was I saying about gravity problems? I actually legit just lost complete track of the gravity. Yeah, anyways, it seems pretty, it's kind of common sense for the most part, but a lot of people, yeah, anyways, whatever. Yeah, jeez. What am I looking at? I don't know. I'm on YouTube right now because why not? Yeah, I don't really have a lot to talk about today. I guess I do since I started talking. I've been talking for about 29 minutes, 30 minutes. It's quite a bit of talking, especially with the speed that I talk at times. I do have a lot of pauses though. Yeah, and then, it's just a lot of things in my head that I don't feel like talking about, because if I started talking about it, each topic would be like 30 minutes and I would have to turn into some kind of podcast or something. And this isn't a podcast. And podcasts are more structured, so I guess maybe, since I have a lot of this stuff in my head, I could, start putting more effort into structuring my thoughts more and turning into little bite-sized concepts that are useful, potentially useful to other people and potentially myself, because I can understand my thoughts more. I'm not concerned about making a product though, not yet at least. It's another gravity problem that I know I have no control over because of the fact that I can't even think about a product that would actually be useful to the world, that would actually solve things. So I'm going to work on other problems. There are so many other problems I have control over right now. One of them being, I am not as knowledgeable as I'd like to be in technology, so I'm learning about technology and I'm fixing that. So I can't do that yet. I don't have the resources for it yet, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep moving forward regardless. Of course I can think about the logistics and whatnot, but again, that's a bunch of hypotheticals that I don't have to think about now because I'm not there yet. And the logistics process is like half the battle and whatnot. And the technical know-how would be a lot more challenging, and I'd rather tackle. I want full independence. I prefer to work for myself. I prefer not to rely on anybody. At the same time, I'm willing to rely on somebody if I have more technical know-how and they know more about marketing or business, or there are more people persons, and they happen to just in general understand that sphere more than I am, because I'm more technically minded. I don't really care about marketing or sales and number crunching. Numbers are cool, I guess, but I'm not really a big fan of that. I like thoughts that can be abstracted into symbols, I like abstracted stuff. I like abstractions, and numbers are abstractions, of course, but they're very rudimentary abstractions that I don't really care too much about. And it's fun to play with numbers at times, but it's kind of mundane, in my opinion. So maybe one day I'll find somebody that's more of a people person than I am, that's strong in sales and marketing, that I can work with and hopefully work with as a team, where we can actually have like a shared profit. It would probably be a shared profit. Of course, I could pay them. That's also another idea, but I don't know yet, because I don't really have an idea in mind that I'm willing to execute that will give me an external equity. But then again, at least I'm thinking about it, and at least I'm kind of expanding my view of the world and how I can still be happy within this capitalist system. The brain is not good. Yeah, the brain is really not a good multitasker. I don't know, I was writing stuff about physics, what I want to work on in physics. I don't know, my brain is more focused on, again, building equity. And, once I build equity, I can start focusing on this again once I'm stable and happy, and this will be part of my hobby. I don't think this will be a good discipline to have. Physics is great, but I think it's kind of, I don't know. It seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. It requires a lot of discipline too, a lot more than understanding. Okay, both of them require a lot of discipline, but I feel like, again, I'm getting a book on this kind of stuff. I'm going to keep it at a surface level because I feel like I haven't gained enough information. So I'm gonna keep it at a surface level for now, and then maybe I'll slowly dive into more complicated stuff with differential geometry. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, fuck. It's like maybe before I dive into topology and differential geometry, I should get a book on set theory. Oh, dude, I actually have the book of proof at home that I didn't get. It's fine. I could probably find a PDF of it. I actually found a website that's pretty good. I found this on a YouTube video. It's called LibGen, which I didn't know of. Apparently you could search anything and it'll find a PDF for you. Let's see if I can see book of proof. See if that shows up. Well. Are they going to charge me for this? If I hit ebook. What happened? Oh. Did I download it? I didn't download it. What the heck happened? Okay. I hit download, but it didn't do anything, but I guess I had to log in. Probably. I had to make a... You have to make an account. Which would be worth it, even if they do send me newsletters and for whatever shit they'll be sending to my email. Maybe I'll just use my other... I have 2 emails, so... yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Is there anything else that I need to talk about? Not really. I'm going to take it easy. Again, I don't want to burn myself out, so I'm going to chillax and probably look at CSS, just play around with Wireshark probably, and networking stuff, and I'm going to wait for my... Yeah, anyways, I already talked about it, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.